Thank you. I think Fabio, you can go first. Maybe you can mention the work you are doing in Kisumu for the rice.
Yes. So in the context of this question, high definition and low definition, well, I would say high resolution and a low resolution imagery. There are pros and cons in both cases. The most important thing is that usually high resolution is very, very expensive. And for this reason, you can't scale up to the whole of Kenya with a high resolution model for the simple reason that the money associated with it is just impossible. On the other hand, if you go too low with the resolution, like 1 kilometer or so, 500 meters, this is even cheaper and affordable, or even for free. It is open source, I can understand, but the level of detail is not good enough for taking decisions in your shamba, in your farm. I think that as the technology moved on, nowadays it is possible to have a good intermediate level of resolutions, which is actually between 10 and 20 meters with the Sentinel constellation. With this, you have a very good compromise, which allows you to have data very affordable, or I would say even for free, from Sentinel, and also an acceptable level of information from your shamba. With this kind of resolution, with a VHI, for example, 20-meter resolution, I could map out the shambas, the rice fields in Kisumu, and I could get not less than, let's say, 15 to 20 samples per field, which is a very good level of information. If you think to have the same result with the surveyor, well, that could be very much time-consuming and expensive. Whereas with the satellites, you can get all the information you want every 5 days. Up to you, Kevin, to add more information on this point.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Maybe I'm also just to comment for the smallholder farmers. So where a farm is, let's say, below 1 hectare, yes, you can still get the information using especially the Sentinel data, as you've had on 20-meter resolution, 10-meter resolution. What we found farmers value more is like hyperlocalized weather data. So what we provide for especially for the smallholders, we give them free access to hyperlocalized weather data, a record-keeping tool, and for a smaller farm, when you're looking at 1 to 2 acres, sometimes that is still within the realm of being able to see within one morning. You can actually get a clear idea of the lay of the farm, where the crop stress is. But where the satellite would come in is especially over time, the temporal performance over time, as Fabio has mentioned. That information is very useful. And also looking at, from a point of view, let's say an aggregator or an NGO, where you have, say, 1,000 or 2,000 beneficiaries of farmers within a broad area, the satellite modeling is quite useful to get both the NDVI, NDWI, and yield data of farms over a broader area. So that's where that would come in and sort of give you a high-level aggregated view, and you can test some assumptions on drought and the effect of drought on the crop. For coffee specifically, I think we've tried doing a couple of models with coffee, where sometimes you have an inverse relationship between crop stress and flowering and fruiting. So it brings from some very interesting insights when you look at coffee crop models. But yeah, that's a great question. I think we seem to be running out of time. We have a few minutes. I want to make sure we get all the questions. So Mohammed Himu, you say we send you the link to the scientific paper. So we have noted your email address. And then go to, I think, Arnold Karina. You're asking, how does the Crop HQ app on Android work, and does it use satellite data? So yes, we do use satellite data. So the Crop HQ app by Lentera enables you to have the maps, the crop health and soil moisture map. And also it allows you to have a record keeping tool and get access to hyperlocalized weather data. as well as a GPS tagged pest and disease scouting tool. So yeah, so we use satellite data and also the localized phone data and the weather data. And then another question, Mohammed, I think the Bakate, you've say asking if I start using VHI on a new field without any past data on harvest performance, does the model still work? So I'll let Fabio answer that question, and then before we're able to close the session. So Fabio, you can answer Mohammed Diabakate's last question on VHI.
Yes, I think that this is definitely possible. The VHI is a very flexible tool, a very flexible index. The dashboard, in particularly, which was developed by Airbus, allows you also to get this kind of information. So you can get information from the present and from the past, and eventually you can build the whole history of your Shamba from the beginning of the satellite launch. It was back to 2017.
Fabio, are you still there?
So for 3 or 4 years.
Okay, we seem to be having trouble with your connection, Fabio. So I think that was the last.
Don't you hear my voice?
We hear you now. Please go ahead.
Okay. I was just saying that the VHI always read past data. So if the new field is done, is just initiated, the VHI can record what was before the new field, and obviously it is not relevant. However, after 1 year, you can have already enough information to build the blue curve or the ideal performance. So you just have to wait 1 year. In some cases, even 1 season is enough to build the model.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that info. Fabio, that's quite useful. So what we will do is we will launch the last and final poll of today, which is as you have listened through this webinar, we would love to hear your view as we close. This webinar has been recorded, so we will share with you a link to the recording, and you can still listen to it afterwards. You can also reach out to us, info@lenterafrica.com for more questions. You can also reach out to Dr. Fabio directly. He has posted his email address on the chat box. I will just, yeah, it's there. I'll just reshare it to make sure that everybody has it. If you have more questions on the VHI model by Airbus, and then also you can also reach out to us for more questions about the generalized NDVI and crop modeling. We'll be looking forward to your questions and your comments. I see already half of you have voted overall. That feedback is good. Feel free to share your candid feedback, and most importantly, we would like to engage with you beyond this session. So this is a series of monthly webinars that we are doing that will be running on different aspects of satellite-based crop modeling, targeting different audiences. So take this opportunity to thank you for your time. I'll also let my colleagues, so Kevin and Fabio, if you have any closing comments before we wrap up the meeting.
Well, I'm just grateful to you all guys for this very, very interesting initiative. I hope that it can pave the way to further conferences and initiatives to share the information we have all together. It is very important that science and technology can be disseminated to the farmers and the stakeholders. So many thanks, Moses and Kevin and Darshana, for your contribution to this interesting initiative.
Okay, thank you so much. Kevin, do you have any closing remarks?
Also grateful and hope for more webinars where we can interact and also increase our knowledge on satellite-based crop analysis. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin, for sharing with us. So for the rest, I think we started with the quotation that says, once in your life you need a doctor, a lawyer, a policeman, but every day, 3 times a day, you need a farmer. So I think as we go forward, how do we enable farmers to go to the next level? And for us, we firmly believe employing technologies such as satellite-based crop analysis, VHI, variable rate application of inputs, we can take farming to the next level where it's more productive, more profitable, and farmers are able to save on costs. So we look forward to keep connecting with you. I'll just quickly acknowledge a question by Dhruv Shah. Dhruv, we shall reach out to you. I've just seen your question now, and we should be able to be asking about some statistics for farm level data. We'll be able to answer you that. For the time being, have a lovely evening. Stay safe, and let's keep connected. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Hi, everyone.